Yeah.
You know what I mean? You always get two. That's why I don't go to buffets, because I get two, three, four. I mean, look at me. You know what I'm saying? I earned
Mhm.
this championship belt. So it's like, it's one of those things that we deal with. And when you start getting mammals in your garden, it's not too late, but it's really difficult, right? So the key is to prevent them. So, how do we prevent them? Well, the first thing that I would do is quite simply harvest. Harvest, 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 right? Like tomatoes, for instance. And that's really unpopular thought process, but like maybe we don't want to leave our tomatoes on the vine until they're perfectly ripe and red. Pull them
Mhm.
when they're a little bit green. And that way they're not as flavorful for them to come. It doesn't really attract them as much.
Yeah. There's a ripe tomato, a ripe melon. It definitely is a particular smell that it puts off. A really ripe melon or a really ripe tomato. I mean, all of these things have some level of scent. Cucumbers have a scent. Um, I think that that is a harvesting is answer for both the insect bug pest and the mammals,
Yeah.
right? So the quicker you can get it out of the garden, the less likely it is clearly for it to come under attack because it's out of the garden. Um, I tend to, and it's a little bit of a pain, I tend to use a lot of barriers. So areas that I see mammals frequenting, I tend to provide some like you gotta really work a little bit harder to get to it. None of it's foolproof. I have,
Right.
used galvanized wire to create kind of think about, like, the small fences that you will have on someone's front lawn, mostly for decorative purposes. I do that same thing when it comes to some of my garden spaces, and anything can climb over it. It's not stopping anything, but is the cat less likely to crawl into that space? From what I've observed, yeah. Now again, I have no idea what or why the raccoons that visit tend to gravitate towards the backyard versus the front yard inside of the gardens. But that's what tends to happen. There's something about kind of that setup. It's something about those spaces. And I say it's a bit of a pain because every barrier you create, it not only prevents or let's say maybe distracts an animal, it creates a barrier for you as the gardener as well,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So, I use things like the galvanized wire, like, think again, fencing, I use, all kinds of insect netting, so my garden is draped in all kinds of things. Every time I need to get inside of that garden space, I need to uncover it, which we've talked about before. It's worth it for me if I had, let's say, some space that was twice as big, I don't know that I'd be able to keep up with that or really desire to keep up with that. I love the look of an open garden that doesn't have all of those things, right?
Yeah,
But
but I mean, necessity dictates what you need. And,
mhm,
it's like,
mhm,
yeah, I don't want to have a fence around my garden. I don't have one yet.
yeah, mm,
And, if you're new to the show or anything like that, I have dealt with massive raccoon attacks in my garden to the tune of last year. I think I was able to harvest 3 tomatoes, and they were
oh,
just
wow.
eating them all right off of the vine. I even got up one morning and found a half-eaten tomato sitting on top of a beehive, where it had gone and sat on a beehive and ate a tomato in the middle of the night. So, I've dealt with this. And as of right now, I have stopped that from happening almost
Yeah,
completely. So, one thing that really helps too, I know one year we were getting, same thing. We had tomatoes growing on our back porch, and they would be half eaten on the vine. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a rat. I don't know, what it was. But what I started to do is I pulled every single tomato off, every single one,
mhm,
every single tomato, and
mhm,
I just stayed on top of it, and it went away. I took away that food source completely. So same
yeah,
thing this year. Like we typically used fish fertilizer in our injection system. And what we found were the raccoons were going straight for the injection system. They were chewing up the hoses left and right. So we moved away from that completely, and guess what? No more issues. I almost instantly stopped. It took a little bit of time, but that smell got out of there, and there, it's not an issue. So it was one of
Which brings
those.
up I'm sorry.
It was just one of those things where we just had to consistently do it over and over.